So my research is about aging, and this is an older person. According to the literature, we know that over 20% of older people suffer. Over 20% of older people suffer from a mental health problem, and the most frequent one is depression, which is usually comorbid with anxiety. We also know that over 5% of older people suffer from dementia, a syndrome of cognitive decline, and this proportion increases considerably with older age. To investigate these mental health issues, several aging cohorts have been conducted to provide evidence on the epidemiology and potential risk factors. However, public health science is not only about individuals, it is also about the context where an individual exists, the context of wider social and environmental backgrounds. So here I'm going to add some environmental context to this older person and provide some overview of environmental impact on individual mental health. It is not difficult for us to imagine an older person or even ourselves in the near future to live in an environment like this. But what kind of environment we would like to have when we are getting older? How about this one? How do we feel about this living environment? Well, we might feel uncomfortable to live in this very nasty environment with some poor pavement conditions, litter streets, and lack of maintenance to public and private properties. And how about this one? Is this better than last one? Or people prefer the last one? Well, it is slightly better compared to the last one for me. Now we have clean and well-maintained environments and some green elements in the public areas. So we can see that the quality of living environment is very different between these two settings, and this difference can be described using features of social disorder. So the graph on the left-hand side is a typical area with high social disorder, a poor quality of living environment, and the other one is obviously the opposite. In this study, we used this observational instrument, the Residential Environmental Assessment Tool, which was designed for the UK postcode unit and included 28 items of property and street-level assessments. To systematically collect environmental data across different settings, we use Google Street View to virtually walk down the street and observe local environments. So what might be the association between these living environments and mental health conditions in later life? Information on mental status was based on cognitive function and aging study 2. This is a longitudinal population-based study of people aged 65 and over across rural and urban areas of England. So we would expect that high social disorder was related to more mental health problems. Indeed, we found that living in an area with high social disorder was related to up to 30% increased odds of common mental disorder. However, for cognitive disorder, we found the direction of association differed between urban and rural area. So as we know that high social disorder area might be related to lack of control of local environment as well as individual activity with potential negative impact on emotional and cognitive health in later life. However, areas with low social disorder in more rural setting, which were generally away from local high street and more interactive settings, might be related to social isolation and lack of cognitive stimulation. So the finding here indicates that the interaction between aging and place is not straightforward, and the influence of living environment on mental health in later life should be further considered in the future research and policy planning. Thank you.
you very much for setting that up so clearly. A question?
Do you know if there's any literature on the period in the life course when these environmental effects are most potent? Is it in old age, or might some of the risks be attributable to exposure in younger or ages or even in children?
From my understanding, the literature on environmental gerontology emphasized that the importance of environment is greater compared to younger age group, because when you are getting old, your physical or mental function decline. So you have different. So the influence of environmental stressors or these kind of disorder things might be more important when you are younger. You have better physical conditions or mental conditions to resist those kind of stress from your environment. That's from my understanding.
Thank you. Thank you very much.